Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Mitchlack. I'm an education consultant at the Connecticut State Department of Education, and I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today for this exciting event. To get our day started, please welcome Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysiewicz.
Excellent. And Jennifer, do you mind unsharing the screen, please?
Not at all.
Excellent. That is fantastic. So good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited to be here with you today. It's a great pleasure to celebrate the state of Connecticut's brightest young technological minds. As Lieutenant Governor, excuse me, I have the honor of serving as the chair of the Governor's Council on Women and Girls. Creating the council was one of our very first acts after the governor and I took office in 2019. And the council is made up of the leaders of our 27 state agencies, representatives from our state legislature, and representatives from our constitutional offices. Its purpose is to provide a coordinated state response to issues that impact the lives of women, girls, their families, and our state. And the Council on Women and Girls has 4 subcommittees in pursuit of this purpose: economic opportunity and workforce equity, health and safety, leadership, and education and STEAM. Education and STEAM is the subcommittee that's responsible for bringing together these wonderful partners for our Lieutenant Governor Coding Challenge and creating the opportunity for us to showcase our students' talents today. The goal of the Education and STEAM subcommittee is to encourage educational advancement for women and girls, particularly in the STEAM areas of science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. I'm a big advocate for equal representation of women in the workforce in these fields in which we find women to be particularly underrepresented. So we need more work, and we need to engage more girls and young women to think about STEAM fields for their future careers, which are very well paying and can also help us address the equity gap. And in addition to serving as council of the chair, the council chair, I also serve as the state honorary chair of Million Women Mentors, which is a national and international movement to spark interest and confidence in women and girls to pursue STEM careers and leadership opportunities through the power of mentoring. So you can be assured that I am addressing this issue on multiple fronts. As a state, we recognize that we need to start addressing women working in STEAM fields first by encouraging our young girls to be more involved in STEAM education and activities. And I'm also pleased with the work of the Education and STEAM subcommittee of the council, particularly the State Department of Education and the steering subcommittees who have volunteered so much of their time to bring this coding challenge together this spring. In the midst of a global pandemic, we remain committed to the advancement of quality education. We recognize the important roles of our youth in standing up to the challenges that we face from COVID-19 and keeping our communities connected and safe. And this year, I am particularly proud of our students. We've received 430 submissions this year, a substantial increase from last year. And I'm thrilled to see so many students across Connecticut step up with their ideas and ingenuity. And I wanted to also highlight that this year we had participants from around a third of our state's opportunity districts. Access to high quality STEM education is something that every student across our state deserves access to, no matter their school district or their socioeconomic background. So to see so much excellent work from students across the state, from the Quiet Corner to the Naugatuck Valley and beyond, highlights the incredible talent of our young people and our educators throughout our state. This is our second computing challenge, and it's the second time that we've held a recognition event, and the second time we have come together virtually in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. The past 15 months have been unimaginably challenging for our teachers, students, and parents. In a year of pandemic school, to see so many submissions from all across the state is really a testament to the resilience and passion of our students, the commitment of our parents, and the dedication of our teachers. I'm looking forward to keeping this coding momentum going when we get back to school next year, and to celebrate the third annual computing challenge with everyone in person next year. So at this time, I am going to pass the program back over to our wonderful MC.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I will share again my screen so we can make sure everyone gets recognized appropriately throughout our event today. Wrong button, sorry about that. So as the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, we did have 3 opportunity districts that participated. And as a result of that, they will be receiving by donation from Google DRs to continue to build upon their STEM programming in their schools. Those districts are Hartford, Bridgeport, and New Haven. Before we highlight our submissions, I think it's important that we learn more about what the challenge was all about. So it's my honor to introduce Kristen Violet, who was a lead developer, as well as fulfilling a variety of other roles that help make this challenge a success. Kristen?
Thank you, Jennifer. As you can see on the slide, this year we expanded Lieutenant Governor Computing Challenge to include 3 options. We have the Concept Challenge, the Prototype Challenge, and the Development Challenge. In all 3 of these challenges, students were asked to identify a local or global problem in the society and propose a computing solution that embraced our theme this year, which was coding for good. So first, the Concept Challenge focused on ideation only. Students were not required to do any coding. Participating students exercised and developed creative thinking and problem-solving skills as they expressed the problem and their coding for good solution through written responses and the creation of an audio-visual artifact. The Prototype Challenge expanded upon the Concept Challenge in that it asked students to create a development plan for the solution, as well as a user interface for their coding solution. While they were to plan out the entire computing solution, they're only required to program a minimum of 1 working feature of that solution. They posted their plan, the responses to written prompts, and their audio-visual artifact on an online platform called Launchpad, which was provided by EdAdvance. Finally, the Development Challenge required the most amount of programming, as students needed to create a fully working coding solution. So in addition to written responses and the audio-visual artifact, participants also posted their code to Launchpad. So I'd like just to take a minute to acknowledge the time and the dedication of EdAdvance. They worked really hard to adapt their online platform to align with our needs for the prototype and the development challenges. And we truly appreciate their time and effort in providing a medium for students to showcase their work, as well as allowing judges to evaluate and provide feedback on those submissions. So thank you very much for that. Jennifer?
So there were so many great challenges. It would be impossible for us to recognize everyone in the time we have. Using technology and creativity, Connecticut students met the challenge and coded for good. Let's take a moment now and see what impressed so many of our judges.
This is the clip of all of the,
Are you on mute?
I don't know. No.
I took you off mute because I didn't want you to be.
I really need a laundry scheduler at my house, I'm just saying.
to the elementary grades.
With
Hello?
so many great entries, it's certainly difficult to choose which ones to highlight, but let's get started on our featured submissions. It's my pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of the Office of Higher Education and a co-chair of the Governor's Council on Women and Girls Subcommittee on Education and STEAM, which is dedicated to encouraging educational advancement for women and girls, particularly in the areas of science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. Tim Larson.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you and Kristen for compiling all of this data and information for us. I'm just completely blown away by the excitement and the energy that's been brought forward through this program. I do want to thank Lieutenant Governor for her continued passion for women and for her and both Governor Lamont for keeping us safe over the last year throughout this pandemic. Putting this effort together has been a tremendous experience, and both myself and my co-chair, Commissioner Magabani, are so thrilled to be part of this effort that continues to promote young women. So let me start by community helpers. The elementary school submission highlights are community helpers. Our first highlighted submission is from Jade, a third grader from the Montessori school. She submitted her app that is a way to connect neighbors to the development challenge. Let's have Jade explain more about this great submission. Jade?
Yes. I thought it would be cool to have an app where the youth can promote their business. This is for everyone who needs a service, and it is specifically for the youth. So all of their work is together. I recently was a little bit taught by Code Ninjas. I added the option to just donate also to charities in the area. I need more experience with coding, but my mom and my teacher helped me.
That's great. Did you have fun?
Yes, but it was a little bit hard.
What was the most fun?
The fun part was I learned how to code a little bit in my app. I was really excited about how will my app turn out. I can't believe I got on the list. I thought it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it was. I was really excited.
So what was the hardest part?
The hardest part when I was finishing it, when my mom helped me, but yeah,
So when you were finishing it, you were tying it all up and packaging it up. That was a little difficult for you. That's okay. It came out great.
Thank you.
You should be very proud.
Thank you. That is very appreciating.
Wonderful. Lieutenant Governor, a question?
So so I have to say, I love the idea of promoting small business, because this is something that the Lieutenant Governor's office and I try to do every day, particularly women-owned businesses, businesses owned by people of color, veteran-owned businesses as well. And I just love that if you want to donate, you can do that. I mean, this is a really nice web prototype, because there are so many things that you could do with it potentially. So Jade, thank you very much. And you were really great at explaining what it is. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you.
That was wonderful, Jade. You have a fantastic summer, okay?
Thank you.
And Jennifer, will we just continue through the list?
Yes, although I'm not sure if our power off submitters were able to be on the call. I didn't see them early on. Is there anyone here from power off? If not, Tim, feel free just to explain their what they did.
Sure. So no one from Power Off. So the next highlighted project is from a prototype challenge. A team of 4th and 5th graders from the Stanford Charter School of Excellence wanted to address the overuse of electricity for their project. Girls, you can introduce yourselves, but they're not here today, but it was the overuse of electricity. So I'm sure that will come in handy as we look at different affairs with global warming and how important all of that is, and moving into the summer months with vacations, and how we need to be mindful of the power that we get from energy, and particularly electric energy and so forth. You know, a lot of the automobiles in the next few years will be moving towards an all-electric comport, so that these are things that we will always continue to look at. So we appreciate that submission, and give congratulations to the Stanford Charter School for excellence. And then moving along, we have True Friend. Our final submission to highlight from this grade comes from Shira, who is a 5th grade student at Pleasant Valley Elementary School in South Windsor, where Prototype Entries hopes to instill some good habits in kids. We all know how important it is, and I'm so excited to learn more about this. Shira, am I saying that right?
Try.
I was close.
Yeah.
Always,
So-
always correct someone when they don't pronounce your name, and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Thank
You're welcome.
you. Go ahead.
Okay. So True Friend is an app that inherits good habits into you and gives you a better time sense. I thought of creating this app when COVID began and I was facing some time issues and inheriting some bad habits, like watching too much. Then I tried creating timetables to fix this problem, but all my timetables are in the trash now, so that didn't work. Then when I realized my friends also had this problem, I wanted to do something that can help not just me and my friends, but everyone else out there too. So that's why I thought of creating True Friend. And I called it True Friend because my app's objective is to be just like what a real true friend would do. Inherit good habits into you and give you a better time sense.
So like Jade, what was the most fun part?
Sure.
No, like Jade had mentioned, what was the most fun part of your challenge?
The most fun part was probably me creating the app and using it, because then I realized all the benefits that came out of it, and it just really made me happy that I can help many people with this problem.
Wonderful. And what was the most difficult part?
Probably the most difficult part was the UI, because when I kept trying to fix it, but then when I tried to fix one part, something else got destroyed. So it took a long time to get that down, but overall, it was really, really fun to do.
Well, it seemed to work in your methodology of putting things in line and in sequence seemed to be beneficial as you were working through this. So I'm sure the Lieutenant Governor has a question for you.
So I do. I love your focus on what can I come up with that will solve a problem. And trust me, everyone has time management problems. At least I know it's something I think about every day. So what was it that inspired you? Can you talk a little more about that? Because I found that fascinating, because the people who are the most successful inventors are ones that fix problems that a lot of people have. So talk about that a little more. Did you discuss it with your friends? How'd you come up with it?
How I came up with it is, so I just went to my friend's house and I realized the parents, they were talking about their kids having issues with time. So, and I was having that problem too. So I didn't know for sure, but I was thinking that I know it's not just me who has this problem and not just my friends. And I know I could have just like made a timetable, handed it out to my friends, help them, help me. But the thing is that would just be like just helping in that range. I wanted to take it another level so I can help everyone who has this problem. And that's why I thought of creating an app, because I knew that apps can really do that, because I've watched videos on showing how apps can like really move people and show them they can make the world a better place.
Very good. Excellent. And what are you going to be doing this summer?
I'll be traveling around a lot, and mostly when I travel, I'll definitely share this app to my family and friends that I meet.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you, Governor Bysowitz. Ladies, thank you so much for your submission. We hope that you continue to have that desire and the fire that's ignited you with this challenge, and we hope you continue to add on and inspire other girls your age and other people about how wonderful this opportunity has been. And we really appreciate your effort, and we hope you have a fantastic summer going forward. Take care. Thank you. Jennifer?
Thank you for sharing your projects with us. Next, the Girl Scouts of Connecticut have been a supporter of the Lieutenant Governor's Computing Challenge since its inception. Please welcome Ellen Savard, the Senior Manager for STEM Experience.
Thanks, Jen. And first of all, I want to say how honored Girl Scouts of Connecticut is to partner with the Lieutenant Governor on the Computing Challenge. It is my pleasure right now to introduce Abby Esterheld. And Abby is a rising 5th grader from North Haven. So Abby, can you tell us about your project?
So I created my app using code.org. It's an app that teaches you about the importance of picking up litter and planting trees.
And what age would you say your app is for?
I think it's around my age. I'm 9, so I think maybe a little younger than 9, a little older than 9, around there.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think that it would, when I watched it, I thought that it would be great for, anybody in elementary school. So I think that you did a good job on that. What inspired you?
I looked around my community. I saw a lot of litter around like on the ground and stuff. And I knew that it wasn't just a problem in my community, but everywhere. And I knew that ways that I could help make my community a better place were to pick up litter and to plant more trees.
Great. So I want to ask you, how did you learn to code?
I learned to code using code.org at school, but I learned even more when I was working on a coding badge with Dr. Heidi from the Little Scientists. And I also have a book that teaches you to program in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that my dad has been helping me with.
And did you get that book before or after you started coding?
It was after I had started coding, but it was the first time that I had actually programmed in any of those programming languages.
That's terrific. So just want to point out that she got started at school and with Girl Scouts and is now going on to do big things. If you could bring your app to the next level, what would you do?
So I think that when in the level with where you picked up litter, I would add a garbage can so that the litter wasn't just disappearing into thin air. It was actually going into the garbage can. And I also think it would be really cool to add in people so that they were doing the jobs.
That's terrific. Yep. Yeah. So you can always keep going on this. If you want to show us later, you want to send that to me later, I would love to see what you've done with it. What did you like about computer science or coding?
I like that you can do a lot with coding. Like, I like that you can basically do whatever you want to your computer code.
All right. And are you working on anything else right now?
Yeah, I am working on finishing a optional Genius Hour passion project about coding that I made a website that I coded myself for.
Oh, that's wonderful. And did you learn about some women who were coders?
Yeah, I learned a bit about a Lovelace and Grace Hopper.
So that's, yeah, they were important in this field. And so now at the ripe old age of 9, if you were to had to choose your career, what do you think you'd want to do?
I want to be a bunch of things. I want to be a paleontologist, an author, a teacher, and I want to continue doing coding.
Thank you. Thanks, Abby. I think you're well on your way to making the world a better place.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you. As we move forward with our highlighted submissions, we know that there are many new and upcoming technologies. And what's exciting is that we know our students, Connecticut students, will be on the forefront of utilizing, improving, and even developing more technology in the future. This is evidenced in our next featured submission. Please welcome Christina Tilbrook and Victoria Neiman from Toulon.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thanks everyone. It is our honor to highlight a featured submission taking advantage of the latest technologies in the industry. Toulon represents software development that continues to stand ahead of the curve, and this submission truly shows that innovation can open doors to an incredible future.
So, simple thought here. Our featured submission here is from a group of 11th grade students at W.F. Kaner Technical High School in Waterbury. And they are looking to address the need for physical learning experiences that are not always available without access to the right resources. We're going to discover how to build good habits and learn something new utilizing augmented reality, AR. So what we'd like to do is let's learn a little bit more about this amazing concept. So the people on this team are the Deuces, Jake, Tyrell, Nathan, David, and Isiah. And are any of them on the line today?
I'm here.
I think I saw Jake. Okay, wonderful. So could you tell us a little bit more about augmented reality and why you chose this as your technology?
Okay, so basically, this was actually originally for another project, and that theme was AR. Now, I looked at AR and I was like, AR is kind of cool, but I kind of want to be able to do something with my hands, not just look around. And so that's when I came up with the idea to see if I could somehow get my hands interacting with AR. And so I did a few searches and eventually it turned out, yeah, you can do it. The pieces were there. It's just nobody actually put them together yet. And the fun part was just kind of smushing everything together to work as a solution.
That's great. It's an amazing concept and it's very, very up and coming. Well, we'd like to also know, so if you could explain, how would you explain the program and spreading the message of positivity and how you would solve problems and how you would promote a healthy habit?
Okay, well, really, the app can really teach anything that you do with your hands. So if you need to learn something in life, or maybe there's something that you can't learn because of your financial situation, because some things are expensive to learn, especially when you have to waste something or go through real world items to learn it. Like cooking, for example, if you mess it up, that's a lot of food waste. And so that can help because no matter who you are, there's an infinite supply of virtual items and you can learn whatever you want from any community for free.
So what was your way of how were you inspired? Like your original thought? I know you mentioned something about working on another project, but was there anything else that really inspired you, to address these problems and these issues?
It's kind of a weird thing. I kind of just came up with the idea first, and then it was after that I realized this is a pretty good solution. And that's when I took the step forward to make it about learning.
Is there any particular audiences that you were most interested in centering in on when it came to this program? Like who was your main audience? that you were looking towards helping?
Really, I think it fits anybody. For our main example, we just had a sandwich, but eventually, if it can teach anything, anyone can use it, no matter the age or who they are.
No, that's really great. I think the audiences that you're going to really hit the most, especially younger children that are trying to learn some new things, like you mentioned cooking. When you're really young, you're really not doing a lot of cooking, but if you can learn the basic steps, that's going to be amazing for the future. We do definitely look at this as a forward thinking, and it's pretty amazing. Could you tell us a little bit more about like where you see your future and your team's future here? We see there's a lot of bright people on your team that look like they're very interested in programming. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you'd like to do in the future?
So me personally, I'm going to continue learning code, and I'm going to try software development and then see where I go from there. I could go into AI, I could go anywhere. It's an endless branch of where I can end up. And for the others on my team, I'm not exactly sure, but I know most of them want to go into a coding related field.
That's wonderful. I think that you all have a very, very bright future ahead of you, and we really appreciated working with this app, and we look forward to seeing more of this type of work in the future. And us at Talon here, we appreciate this more than anything as software developers ourselves. We definitely see an amazing spark here. So we want to wish you the best of luck as you move forward in your path in programming, and the same thing for everyone else on your team. You have any last thoughts before we move on? Anything else, any comments you'd like to make just regarding what you've given to us? Anything else about your concept?
I think you've covered most of it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Nice job.
Thank you.
Congratulations to the team from Kaner Tech. And also thank you to Lon for your continued support of this challenge. I think when our students can make those connections to the real world, their learning becomes increasingly more important. And you certainly have done that for us. As co-chair of the Governor's Council on Women and Girls, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Commissioner of the Department of Motor Vehicles, Commissioner Magyubani, who will highlight a couple of our middle school submissions.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I mean, this is unbelievable. Last year, we hit a high bar. I did not know that this year we'd even hit a higher bar in terms of the quality of the submissions. I want to echo my co-chair in thanking the governor and the lieutenant governor for envisioning the whole Council on Women and Girls and their continued support of women and girls within the state of Connecticut. What this provides really is an opportunity to continue to nurture the interest of women and girls in STEM. As we know, or we've seen studies that say that as girls reach middle school, their interest in technology tends to wane. Well, Lieutenant Governor, I am happy to tell you that the bulk of the submissions from middle school came from girls. So I am so proud to introduce the prototype challenge, which was submitted by two sisters, Devi and Mishti, who are ages 5 and 6 from Brooklyn Middle School. And their prototype was submitted to actually help us all learn how to practice healthy habits. And they called it Small Changes. And so I would like to ask the sisters some questions. So if you can lower the presentation so I can see them. Oh, thank you so much. So I am so proud of the two of you. So I'm just interested, how did you decide to partner for this application, the two of you? Can you guys hear me? Debbie or Mishti? Can you hear my question? I can see them. Are we having audio problems?
I can hear you, Commissioner. I'm wondering if the girls have some audio issues on their end. Girls, can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear us? Why don't we move on to the second submission, Commissioner, and we'll work on trying to get Demi and Misty audio fixed.
So the second submission was submitted, the development challenge was submitted by Genevieve Coricelli, a 7th grader from the East Granby Middle School. And her submission is called Be Positive, a platformer. And so what Genevieve said when she submitted this was that if people were kinder, we would live in such a better world. And I couldn't agree with her more. She wants to make a difference by creating an app that addresses the negativity in society. So Genevieve, do you want to share how your idea came about?
Yeah, so I like to make, I use the website Scratch, and I make a lot of different things there. And I had just learned how to make platformers, so I was pretty excited about that. And so I made a platformer where you have to jump over obstacles, and every new slide there's an inspirational quote that I picked out, and I find those quotes really inspire me. So, and I figured it would address a big problem too. So, yeah.
That's great. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but what is a platformer?
It's a game where you avoid obstacles, and usually you have some sort of thing that resembles like gravity. So you fall every time you jump, and yeah.
So what made you think about making the world much more positive? What was behind that idea?
Well, I always have that as kind of like a personal goal for myself. So, and I see that every day that people like are negative, and how it like affects themselves so much. And I feel like it's kind of a loop that can be stopped and make the world such a better place.
So what drove your interest in technology and building application?
What?
So how did you decide your interests? How did you get interested in building an application?
Well, my mother teaches math and computer science, and she taught me how to code. And since then I've kind of been doing it myself for a while, and yeah, it's just been like something that I do a lot.
That's excellent. So Lieutenant Governor, do you have any questions for Genevieve?
I would just ask Genevieve how you think we could get more young people involved in coding. Clearly in your family, you've got your mom who does it for a living, so you're around it a lot. Do you have any inspiration on that good habit that could be picked up either through your app or otherwise? What could we be doing as policymakers to encourage it?
Well, when my mother first taught me code, it was more like how to make something to work, and it wasn't as fun for me as doing games, because then you can like play them yourself, and you can actually be part of the audience. And I feel like if more people like made games like that, it would be more fun for everybody, and then they could get into coding as well.
Excellent. What do you plan to do coding over the summer, or what are your summer plans?
Yeah, I'm taking a CAD class later this week, and also I have a couple big coding projects going on right now that I'm gonna finish in my free time during the summer.
Excellent, excellent. Well, keep it up, because do you envision a career in maybe engineering or IT? What do you think you might do, if you know?
I have so many options right now, but my top one is I'm really interested in physics, but my mother says that knowing computers can help me a lot in that as well, because I know that those types of fields have a lot of technology in them as well. So
You cannot go wrong. So good for you. We're so proud of you. Thank you, Genevieve.
thank you.
So I'm curious, have we been able to get the audio back for Debbie and Misty?
I did chat with them. Debbie and Misty, can you unmute yourselves and see if we can hear you?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
So happy that we can finally hear you. So can you tell us about your application on small changes? How did you decide to do that?
So over this summer, we had learned HTML and CSS, and we had thought to showcase our knowledge in this challenge.
So can your sister, so who's Debbie and who's Misty, so that I can make sure that I'm calling to the both of you?
I'm Debbie, and
okay. So Misty, you want to share how the idea came about?
we were already doing coding, and we thought that this would be.
So did you guys have fun working together as sisters?
Yes, definitely.
So how did you go about writing the code?
What did you say?
How did you go about, doing your application, working together? Well, can you share a little bit about your application and how it works so that everybody can learn how to keep healthy habits?
So basically, our prototype would kind of be like a tool for teachers and students to use in classrooms to make sure that we are practicing healthy habits on a routine basis.
Can you give us some examples of what healthy habits those are? Would that be washing your hands, wearing a mask? What are the things that you're looking at with the app?
Yeah, it would be things like wearing a mask and social distancing, washing and sanitizing frequently.
Great, we need that. We need that. That's been one of the reasons why we were much safer here in Connecticut than in other places. And we had a really good record of keeping kids and teachers healthy in school.
So Misty, did you help your 5th graders learn how to maintain healthy habits?
Distance learners. Yeah, we were distance learners this year, actually.
Oh, okay. And how was that?
It was.
Well, congratulations, and thank you so much for sharing your idea with everyone. Excellent. Back to you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, ladies. I will share my screen again as we get ready to move on to our next sponsor, and that would be AT&T. AT&T Connecticut was the first fiscal sponsor of the 2021 Lieutenant Governor's Computing Challenge. Through their $10,000 donation, we were able to expand to the 3 challenges for this year's experience. On behalf of the 2021 Lieutenant Governor's Computing Challenge, I want to thank and introduce John Emra, President of AT&T New England.
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks so much, and welcome to everybody. It's great to be here. Unfortunately, the student who worked on the submission I'm going to talk about couldn't join us, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit and hopefully do justice to it. Let me start by thanking the Lieutenant Governor for everything she's done, just broadly speaking, to help further the cause of women and girls, and secondly, for this coding challenge. It is a really great way to foster STEM in the minds of our students. So let me talk sort of why this Study With Me app sort of attracted me. One, I think that what was so great about it is it really does a wonderful job of using technology to digitize, if you will, sort of tasks that any students really need to do and to help them study. And I thought it had a very meaningful, practical use of technology to help students. The second thing, and I think the thing that I found frankly more important, was the fact that it really helps to make connections amongst students. And that's the part that I really liked. So many students, we heard just one mentioned a minute ago about learning remotely. Learning remotely has been a real challenge for students. And I think apps like this, hopefully we never have to go through what we just went through here in the last 18 months or so. But if we do, it'll be apps like this that can help students to stay focused and stay on task and to help them connect with one another. So it's my pleasure to help recognize this app and to continue to be such a strong supporter of this effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we appreciate AT&T for all they've done to support the students of Connecticut through this challenge. The final grade band for this challenge was grades 9 through 12. This grade band saw submissions from students with very limited computer science experience to students who have been programming for several years. It's my pleasure to introduce to you my boss, the Acting Commissioner of the Department of Education, Charlene Russell Tucker.
Thank you so much, Jen, for all that you're doing. And thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and also our co-chairs for this subcommittee. Thank you for all your support. Listening to all our presenters today, we realized that the pandemic had made it clear that technological literacy and advancement in STEM and STEAM are critical to addressing a variety of modern day challenges. And that fact makes information technology and specifically computer science more important than ever. We recognize in Connecticut that more than 80% of our high schools are offering computer science. Unfortunately, less than 10% of our students who have access are taking advantage. So I'm really interested in hearing, as we're asking questions of students, how do you also encourage your fellow students to get involved and to participate? However, our students here today have been celebrated because they've stepped up to the challenge and they've certainly impressed us. So I hope that this year's challenge was a fun way for all of you to get the foundational skills that you need to eventually compete for high-tech, high-skill, high-wage careers for the 21st century economy. And at the department, we're here to continue to design and evolve college and career pathways that offer these unique, engaging, and relevant learning experiences. As Jen mentioned earlier, right, when we can connect to real life, real world problems, it certainly makes the learning certainly much more interesting and fun. So we had great submissions from high school students, and it is a pleasure to share with you the 3 that have been chosen to be highlighted. And we will begin with Carbon Savvy, which was submitted to the development challenge by Corey and Zoe from Platt Technical High School. The team tackled the issue of climate change, global warming, by creating an app that addresses the high use of carbon emissions. So Corey and Zoe, can you tell us more about the app and why this was an important cause for you?
Yes, so basically the app is a carbon emissions converter and habit tracker. So basically you would plug in the amount of carbon emissions that you use in your daily life. And as you go on through the day, the purpose of the habit tracker would be to track as many carbon emissions you use in the day after you track the carbon emissions. What inspired me to do this is that I was looking through the internet through this from the past months, and I learned that we've been through in our future, if we're not really careful with how much we use in carbon.
Zoe, we just lost your sound.
Maybe she went on mute accidentally.
Also, a reason
there she is.
Also, the inspiration behind this would be that we all deserve to live in an environment without worrying about global warming, and most importantly,
we deserve to breathe with clean air, as many countries have suffered with breathing issues, including Beijing's insidious smog and UK's public emergency by MPs.
We certainly recognize that it's been in the news recently, so something we're paying attention to. Have you been able to share your app with other students?
Excuse me?
Have you been able to share what you've developed with others, your fellow students?
Not really. I've been able to share this with my family, and they've also been taking into consideration of how much they use for carbon emissions.
That's perfect. Lieutenant Governor, do you have other questions?
So could you talk a little more? I love that you chose to focus on the environment and focus on what each of us could be doing in our own lives to lower our carbon footprint. So can you give us some examples of kinds of things that people could be thinking about to develop better habits that would be that would achieve a smaller carbon footprint?
A few examples would be to lower the amounts that you use when you the amounts of time that you use when you're driving. Also, like instead of also including to transportation, we could like ride bikes or walk if it's a short distance and you don't really have to go too far distance. Another thing would be to lower down on your electricity, also to lower down on things like turn off the lights if you're not really using them, and also to lower the amount of paper plastic I use. So you could like go more to reducing the amount of waste by like using glass jars to hold in when you're going to grocery shops, or going to low waste stores that use less waste when it comes to packaging certain items.
That is really great. Thank you so much. And can you tell us what you're going to be doing this summer?
Honestly, it's more with spending time with my family, and also probably traveling and finding more coding solutions that I could do for like certain projects that I'm coming up.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You did a great job.
And thank you, Zoe. As you were talking, I wonder, are you continuing to follow your family around the house and letting them know?
No, not really, but like at times I'll just remind them that we should lower down on the amounts that we use.
No, that's great. Thank you very much. And riding bikes are actually even healthy for you, right? So you're getting your physical activity in. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Our next highlighted submission is Open Up, comes from Rick, a sophomore at Ellington High School, and his app aims to support women suffering from domestic violence. And really impressed with your commitment to this cause. Could you tell us more about your app?
Absolutely. So Open Up creates a safe environment for people to talk about their emotions regarding domestic violence. Through the app, users can sign up for support group meetings or even chat with a therapist. I was inspired to make this app after talking to my aunt, who's a social worker, and she was telling me that there really isn't a great platform to women to talk to each other about abuse and domestic violence. And so I decided to take that idea and transform it into an app. And as I mentioned, Open Up's target audience is mainly women because they're the victims most of the times in an abusive relationship. But on top of this, especially women in developing regions, they're a lot less likely to receive the support they need. And so I think Open Up is a great tool for them to make their voices heard.
Thank you so much. And talking to the social worker in the family, what kind of feedback did you get in terms of your app development and sharing what you've developed?
Yeah, so every time I made a few improvements to the app, she would give me quick bits of advice. For example, with the setting up meetings and stuff, some meetings should be closed because once you develop a bond with others, other people might want to enter and stuff. But once you create that group of people, you develop a connection with them. So it's important you maintain that meeting over like once a week and over a couple of months. And I think that really was a great piece of advice.
Right. So kind of issues of confidentiality too, I think, right? In keeping that space closed. That's great. What are your plans moving forward with that?
Definitely, I wanted to show it to her. She said that she would love to meet with me sometime, and I wanted to demonstrate the app to her because she wanted to share it with her coworkers as well. She thought it was a great idea, and she loved the app.
That's awesome. Lieutenant Governor?
Rick, let me just say that domestic violence is one of the pandemics within the pandemic. That and opioid addiction have been some things that have been huge challenges for our state. And to the commissioner's question, what I'd love to do is have you show the app to the new executive director of the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the CCADV, and they are a part of our Women and Girls Council, and they have agencies around the state that help women and to keep the women and their children safe. So I would love to make that introduction because you have a great idea and you never know what can happen with this really tremendous idea because we all want to keep people safe in our state. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Rick. And the final highlighted high school submission is a prototype submission and deals with one of the most talked about issues, which is mental health. And so the team from Farmington High School wants to make sure that the information about mental health is accurate. So let's hear how they hope to accomplish this through their app called Breathe.
Hi, good afternoon. And our website is called Breathe, and it's meant to stop the constant flow of misinformation surrounding mental health while offering advice and aid to those suffering from mental illness. Our website boasts a calming atmosphere, functional breathing exercises, and it offers counsels that everyone can use to improve their mental health.
This website means a lot to us because we've seen the impact of mental illness around us, especially when those who have it struggle to be understood by those who are misinformed and are often ostracized because of others' ignorance. And within mental disorders, our website places an emphasis on depression and anxiety. So with this website, we want to spread the narrative that mental health is just as important as physical health.
Our target audience are also teenagers because according to the World Health Organization, half of all mental health conditions begin to develop at age 14, but most remain undetected. This is why this website is geared towards teenagers because they need to be aware about mental health the most. By identifying and understanding mental illness early, people can easily accept and treat the condition later on. This also dispels the stereotype that teenagers are too young to develop a mental illness, and it encourages teens to be aware of and try to improve their mental health early on in life. We try to appeal to teenagers by making our website aesthetically pleasing with bold colors as opposed to using a white, sterile, and medical plain background that most websites use.
We wanted this website to influence others by lifting whatever hardships that's going on in their life and create a kind and supportive community.
Yeah, this is just so awesome. And I know that this year, we've heard from other students like yourself saying, we need to talk about issues around the traumas that folks were encountering and finding a way to do that. So did you get a chance to, what have you experienced in school or even with your fellow classmates that maybe have influenced the development of the website?
Well, personally, I was a distance learner to this entire year, and I struggled with keeping up with assignments, especially in high school. And we're almost seniors, so we get a lot of workload, and we have to worry about our futures because this is the time where we have to do college. We have to start thinking about college, and it's been really stressful because with COVID we can't really do much. We're at home, we can't go out. So I feel like our website it's meant to inform people that this is normal. It's a normal thing to feel depressed or like have anxiety because of these things that's happened. So yeah.
No, that's just awesome. And I've heard that from other students like yourselves as well about the social isolation with the work to be done. So does the website provide resources then for where you can go to get help, to get assistance?
Yes, it provides like a list of organizations that offer aid with mental health and foundations that can help people struggling with it just feel better. And not only can users access these resources easily in the list, people can also donate to these organizations easily through our website.
Awesome. Lieutenant Governor?
So I am curious to know what both of these 11th graders would like to do for the future, because they are so well spoken and poised and very thoughtful, and I'm curious what they have in mind for the future.
Well, I actually recently decided that I wanted to do something with computer science in college. I don't really know what I want to do within computer science, but I know it's something that I feel passionate about. And I want to like with this website, like I talked about mental health. Mental health is just something that's recently been like talked about more often. So I want to prompt more discussion within this topic and why it's an issue on how, because people are misinformed, they could ostracize people because they might think, oh, mental health isn't as important as physical health. Like so many people.
No, you are so right, and you know this is it's really important to get rid of the stigma that some people attach to mental health, which is equally as important as physical health. And I'm so happy to hear that you're interested in going into computer science. We need more women. Right now in the computing fields, only 25% of the positions are held by women. So happy that you're thinking about doing that. How about Mantra?
I'm also definitely going into computer science, and I also definitely want to volunteer for mental health organizations on the side, like maybe a suicide hotline, maybe. So I want to combine both of my passions together. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you both for that great work.
And offering as well, as I know the Lieutenant Governor did with Rick, because students talking to students, I think is really, really important, and being able to share a tool that they can use. So we'll have to find a way to connect you with some of our other student groups and associations that we have so we can get information out. So thank you all very much. You've all done a great job for sharing all of this, your apps with us, and for the work that you've done. And by participating in this challenge, hopefully it's inspired you. I hear one inspiration, more than one inspiration here, for continuing to pursue a STEM or computer science degree or career. As the Lieutenant Governor said, so critically important for all of us. So thank you very much. And again, thanks to the Lieutenant Governor and all our partners here for hosting the challenge. And so pleased to see more this time around, and seeing our Alliance District stepping in as well, which is great. Congratulations again to all our students. Your talent, passion, and creativity certainly apparent, and we're just thrilled to be able to continue to support you. Back to you, Jennifer.
Thank you very much. Very impressed with those apps. Our final highlighted submissions will be introduced by Kate Maloney, Executive Director of Infosys Foundation USA. Infosys Foundation USA's mission is to expand computer science and maker education to K-12 students and teachers. Through a $25,000 grant to the 2021 Lieutenant Governor's Computing Challenge, the expertise of Connecticut's teachers were utilized to develop the prompts, facilitate helpful webinars, and create resources to support students in the challenge. Please welcome Kate Maloney.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this computing challenge, and today to meet all of you. I know I'm the last to go here, but I have two apps that I'm really excited to share with you. Our foundation team would like to recognize Christian for his work on Squad, and we're giving this a recognition for best technological design. Christian, I think I saw you amongst all the faces, and I just have to give you like the heartfelt, our full team was so impressed with what you've done from just that very graphic. I think you have coding and artistic skills in you, because the color pop, I think the double play on this COVID image, you can't see it here, but in Christian's app, he has a tagline, "Life is better in person." And Christian, while I was ready to rave about all the different components of this like super awesome app, I think because you're with us, you should share in your own words what #SquadUp is all about and what you hope to achieve in the design of this app.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. So as restrictions were getting lifted in my community, as people were opening up, as COVID hopefully soon comes to an end, I realized that really no one in my friend group had reached out to get together and hang out. And when I asked them why, they all had really the same answer. It feels awkward to take that first step and reach out, and I don't want to deal with the pressure of managing the whole thing. And this is a problem that I see so much in a lot of kids our age, and myself included. We don't really, we find it awkward or uncomfortable to really reach out to people that we want to meet with and interact socially. And so that inspired me to create this app when I heard about the challenge, where you can send invites to any friends, select a location on a map, and choose a time that works for you. The friends receive their invites, and the app automatically selects the best time for everyone to meet up at a given location. And so the aim is to help people get back together and encourage the safe, healthy, in-person interactions that are critical to the development of teens.
And I don't know if I captured this, Christian, but again, in the design, like everyone thinks that's just the horrible COVID virus, but what was your intention of the like double meaning to that graphic?
Yeah, the graphic was of course COVID, because I had to have some COVID motif in there, being the situation in which this app was created, but it also represents people sitting around a table, which is really the aim of this app and what it's intended to do.
So while we want to give you acknowledgement for the design, the user interface, I also want to just tip my hat to you on behalf of our whole team for how you presented it. Your script and your presentation skills and how clearly you walked us through how it was to be used was fantastic. And I think we all wanted to hire you onto our team after we listened to it. So I am going to of course, invite the Lieutenant Governor to ask you a question, but I wanted to know, just before passing the baton, you said you've been, in your description, you've been coding for as long as you can remember. And I want to know, what was that spark? Who exposed you to coding, or when did you discover you had this talent?
To be honest, I can't remember who in particular exposed me to coding, but as long as I can remember, I first started coding on Scratch, and I kind of learned that myself. I played around with it for years and years and made lots of projects. And any programmer will tell you that the hard part of coding is not actually knowing the actual language that you're coding in. It's knowing how a computer thinks and how to fix bugs and how to put those code blocks in order to create efficient and effective programs. And I think nothing teaches someone that better than Scratch. And so I attribute 95% of all my coding knowledge to Scratch. The rest was just learning different formatting. So over the course of the years, I learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Java. I started Python a little bit. And for this app, I learned Swift, Apple's development language, in the span of about a month, and in a little bit of a rush to be able to develop this app. And it just interests me. Being able to manipulate such a complicated machine into doing such seemingly simple things is fascinating.
Lieutenant Governor, I'll pass it to you because I could take this all afternoon.
Absolutely. And I know that Infosys already wants to recruit you. My daughter works at Google, so I'm sure you could talk to her as well about coding opportunities there. But here's what struck me. I was wondering if you and your friends actually tried this app to meet up, and I was curious, did you meet at parks? Did you meet at Starbucks? I was kind of curious if you actually tried to use it with your friends to solve the problem that you talked about.
Well, because I did have to submit this project, I wasn't able to bring the full online functionality of crowdsourcing times online, so we weren't able to use it in a real world context. But I did ask them, hey, what if you guys were using this app? Where would we meet up? Where would we hang out? And the general consensus was definitely Starbucks.
Yeah, okay. Because also I was thinking, during the pandemic, probably sort of outdoor venues would be popular, perhaps.
Yeah, that was true. They most of my community thankfully is vaccinated, so we're able to go indoors without stress. But outdoor venues are, I think, if I do bring the app online, which I intend to do, well, would be heavily stressed as an opportunity to get together safely during COVID.
Excellent. And Christian, what are your plans post high school? Do you have any ideas about what you'd like to do?
I'm quite interested in tech as you guys probably see, and I'd love to participate in a tech program and expand my knowledge there, and hopefully go into the industry.
Well, there you go. Well, I think there's a number of companies that would want to have you. So thank you so much for showing us this very impressive submission.
Thank you very much. It's an honor.
Okay, and last but surely not least, our Emphasis Foundation USA team wanted to recognize Suchita for her Vivo app as most innovative. And again, in addition to the design of this program, and I don't think Suchita is here, I may have missed. Oh, she is here. Okay, wonderful. So nice to meet you. And I think our full team saw your app and thought, wow, she has command of hardware and software, and you've designed this dual purpose app. So not only the element around COVID and social distancing, but the other part of it, which I maybe will invite you to share with everyone what that second use may be. And before you do that, again, just to recognize, it's one thing to be able to do all the technological coding and to understand all the inner workings of what's necessary, but to be able to convey it to an audience. And I think you had 6 screens, your phone, a computer, perhaps another device to show us how it worked. And so I want to recognize your presentation skills as well. But why don't you share with the audience that dual purpose design of the app?
Yeah, thank you. So my project is called Vivo, which is a COVID-19 social distancing device. This device can also be used to keep toddlers and young children away from dangerous appliances you can find in a house, like a stove. Vivo is made from both hardware and software components, like you said, using Arduino and Adafruit technology.
And so similarly, I'm wondering if you've been at this since, like Christian, you can't remember. When was that moment that you started to figure out how all of this hardware and software works?
Okay, so I started coding when I was in 4th grade. I started with Scratch. And then I was introduced to Arduino in 6th grade. And I've been doing this for 2 years now. I really like how you can use both hardware and software to solve a problem. I find it really interesting. And now I'm learning, now I'm learning a little bit about Swift too. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Lieutenant Governor, I'm sure we have loved this, ending on a girl who's inspired to pursue computer science, but I'll turn to you for questions you may have for Suchita.
So Suchita, I'd like to know first what you'd like to do if you have a plan for the future, because you seem so passionate about computer science. And I'd also like to know what inspired you to come up with this app.
To answer the first question, I'm looking between two options, software development and creating apps and being a computer engineer, because I really like working with hardware as well. I was inspired to do this because, as you all know, COVID-19 has been extremely hard on us. This past year has been really challenging, with being stuck in our homes and not being able to go outside, and so many people falling sick because of the virus. So I really wanted to target that aspect by creating a social distancing device, because that's one of the best ways to keep ourselves safe. But at the same time, I didn't want my device to be obsolete after the pandemic is over. So I wanted to create another functionality, which is keeping children safe from stubs and other dangerous appliances.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And what are you doing this summer?
I'll probably be spending time with family and friends and learning more about Arduino and Adafruit and a little bit about Swift as well. Yeah.
Oh, good for you. We're excited to see everything that you do in the future.
Yes, fantastic job.
Wow. I am sure that you're all just as impressed with the projects highlighted here today as I am. These projects and this entire event would not have been possible without our sponsors and partners. I would be remiss if I did not also mention that Microsoft made a generous donation of $5,000 to the Lieutenant Governor's Computing Challenge. And we're primed and ready to continue this challenge in years to come. So as this recognition showcase comes to a close, I'd like to turn it over for the final time to the Lieutenant Governor for some final thoughts. Lieutenant Governor?
Excellent. And if you could stop sharing your screen, that'd be fantastic. Thank you so much. What an incredible event. I want to say thank you on behalf of Governor Lamont and I to everyone who participated, and to commend the 13 submissions that we recognize today, and to congratulate the 430 submissions from across the state for their incredible work. I know it was so hard for our judges to try to figure out which projects to highlight because they were all really tremendous. I want to thank my partners in government today, DMV Commissioner Magubane, Acting DOE Commissioner Russell Tucker, and Higher Ed Executive Director Larson, for their commitment to making this computing challenge a success, and for all of the work that they do on the Council on Women and Girls and our state. And we saw all of our sponsors listed. Thank you so much. Infosys, AT&T, Talon, Google, Microsoft, Girl Scouts of America, and all of our sponsors. Your support has really made this challenge possible. What we've seen today demonstrates the incredible creativity and innovative spirit of our students across Connecticut. The submissions that we've recognized here tackle some of the biggest challenges that Governor Lamont and I are trying to tackle every day: public safety, domestic violence, mental health, climate change. All of these subjects were tackled with bold, ambitious solutions. So it's simply impossible to see the ideas on display today and not walk away feeling very hopeful and very optimistic and inspired for the future of our state and our country. I think we've just met some of our state's leaders, future leaders, and who knows, the future developers of the next great technological innovation to make our world a better place may be with us on this call today. So thank you to all of the students who participated for your incredible work. and look forward to cheering you on as you continue to pursue your passions for coding and computing. And back to our MC.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, sponsors. Thank you, partners. And most importantly, thank you, students. You make doing what we do a pleasure. And I look forward to next year's challenge, which will hopefully be even bigger and better. Enjoy your summers. Stay creative, stay positive, and we'll see you in next year's challenge. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great summer.